And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment, which is going to be talking about some news around the league with baseball and just some stories I did want to give my thoughts on. So yeah, obviously this is a segment where I talk about some not minor news stories, but smaller news stories that I couldn't really do a full segment on, but I still think were still important to talk about and were important enough where I did what I was very interested in them and want to talk about them. So yeah, let's get into it. There were some good amount of minor news and transaction-related stuff that did happen over the past 2 days or so did want to just give my thoughts on it. So first off, Nick Lodolo for the Reds, of course, one of their better pitchers, is going on the IL with a blister, which is a big blow for the Reds, I'd say. Lodolo has been on off the injured list just throughout this entire year, and at least this time he's going in the injured list with something that should be relatively short-term. Of course, blisters do happen a lot for pitchers as they're gripping baseballs all day, throwing baseballs, and using their fingers a lot. So blisters are a relatively common injury for pitchers. They do suck. I mean, as someone who's had a blister, it is not fun to have. It hurts a lot, and I can only imagine for someone whose job is to throw things, it makes it significantly harder, and it is extremely uncomfortable. So should be back after that 15 days. I don't really think there's going to be any long-term capabilities here with long-term effects with Lodolo here. I don't know why I was struggling to think of the word there, but yeah, overall, the Reds, again, just I've talked about it a few times in the show. I expect them to win the Central. Have not been good this year, and really just it has been found out the entire year. It's just not their year. It is just not their year to compete with all the injuries they've had, with all the suspensions they've had, mainly Noelli Marte, Matt McLain, the injuries. So overall, just was in a very unfortunate year to be a Reds fan. A year I thought they would take big steps forward to be a really, really good team. Just unfortunate situations have happened where they weren't able to, and unfortunately will not end up being good this year. I really thought they would be very, very good. I talked about them so much in the offseason, but unfortunately have not been good this year, and unfortunate situations do happen, and just that's how sports work. Next, we have the Orioles. They did end up signing Garrett Cooper to a minor league contract. Cooper is, of course, a former All-Star with the Marlins, a pretty good first baseman with them. Has bounced around the past few years now with the Padres, Cubs, Red Sox, and was ended up released this year by his last team. I think it might have been the Yankees. I'm not sure who it was. I don't think it was the Yankees, actually. But, yeah, did end up signing to the Orioles on a minor league contract. I think Cooper provides some depth here with first base. Ryan O'Hearn has been very good, but doesn't hit lefties greatest, and I think if Cooper does end up coming up to the big leagues, that'll really be his big purpose, to be a platoon bat at first or the corner outfield to end up playing against lefties. And overall, it's just a solid veteran bench bat. Is a guy who's been in the league for a little while, knows what he's doing, and again provides just some veteran leadership off the bench. Is just a good, solid guy to have on your team. Just again, is just very, very solid and a good player. So I think overall was a nice signing for the Orioles. Just a good overall depth move for them. And yeah, I think it's a very exciting move for them, and should be interesting to see if he does end up coming up and what should happen here. Chris Paddack was placed on the IL by the Minnesota Twins with shoulder fatigue, which is a big no-no if you are a Twins fan. Now, it seems like they're downplaying any possibility of it being large, but for Paddack, a guy who's had major arm injuries in the past few years, just had Tommy John coming over to the Twins, getting any type of shoulder injury is something that you have to hold your breath with. Paddack has been a big part of the rotation here for the Twins this year. Let a lot of players walk in the offseason, mainly Sonny Gray, Kenta Maeda, and a lot of people were wondering about the rotation, but they always had these younger players like Paddack, like Simeon Woods Richardson, like Ober, like Louis Varland to end up filling in spots. But Paddack has done well, and him having a shoulder injury is not really a great sign, and you're just hoping it does not end up getting worse and it does not end up becoming a long-term thing for the Twins. It doesn't look like it will end up being, but at the same time, Paddack, I think, is going to be someone that we really have to follow if you're a Twins fan, and overall is going to be someone that you're really hoping does not end up having a major injury with this team. I think that Paddack is a really good pitcher and is someone that is a big part of this Twins team, and you're just really hoping that the shoulder injury doesn't sound as bad as it is. I mean, any shoulder injury is bad nowadays, so you're just really holding your breath that it's not as bad. Again, they're downplaying anything, but only they really know what's going on. But hopefully for the Twins and the Twins fans' sake, it is not bad. The Royals apparently are prioritizing bullpen help over outfield help at the deadline. I'm not sure which article this came from. I just wrote it down. There was a lot of articles that came out today, one from Ken Rosenthal, one from Jeff Passan, both about the trade deadline. please, you should go and read those if you're a baseball fan. Both have such great insight always and such great thoughts on it. So, but if I'm a Royals fan, I would be happy with this. I think this makes the most sense. As much as the Royals do need outfield help as they do need corner outfield help, I think prioritizing the bullpen makes a lot more sense. Really, the identity of this Royals team has been pitching. Their starting rotation, as I said many times, is really, really fantastic. And the one thing that's been a problem with them is their bullpen. It really is not great. There are not a lot of great pieces here to like if you are a Royals fan. And I think with the amount of bullpen arms available at the deadline, mainly a guy like Tanner Scott, I think you should end up looking to get a bullpen arm, a big one at that, at this deadline. And I do think it is the right move to prioritize that over getting outfield help. Now, I do think the Royals should end up getting a hitter. I do think they do need help in the outfield. But at the same time, I think they can live without it for right now. There is some depth there. Nelson Velasquez was just optioned by them, so I think they still do have big hopes for him. It's just he hasn't had a great season this year, and if he can come up and be a big piece, that would really help. You're hoping Drew Waters can continue to do well. Kyle Isbell potentially as well, but you could also add a more minor piece like a Tommy Pham from the division rival White Sox. So there are some ability. There's still a way you can get an outfielder at this deadline. But I think prioritizing the bullpen over that makes sense for where you are with this team right now. Again, pitching has been your identity, and as much as your starting rotation has been fantastic, the bullpen is not great, and I think getting a big-time bullpen arm would really, really help you out and really end up helping out this team. So I think it is the right decision here for this Royals team, and is going to be something that really does end up helping them. The Dodgers have shut down Clayton Kershaw's rehab with shoulder soreness. Kershaw, of course, re-signed to the Dodgers on a one-year contract and is going to end up being a big part of the rotation in the second half when he does come back. The Dodgers are saying it's not serious. It's just, he's been pitching a lot recently, and he didn't really do that in the offseason or before because of injury, so it's just normal to have this kind of soreness. But again, really when you're at Kershaw's age, any type of shoulder injury you're being very cautious of, and really type of any injury in general. So yeah, if I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm really hoping this isn't serious. Kershaw is going to be a big part of the rotation going into the second half. I do think he has a lot left still, and I think that he is a legend in this game. Could be his last year or so. I mean, we've said that for like 3 or 4 years, but overall, I do think there is a lot left with Kershaw. I think he's going to end up being a big part of this Dodgers team, especially now in their rotation with Yoshinobu Yamamoto being injured and being out for a significant amount of time. So yeah, definitely holding your breath here with this one. Doesn't seem to be that serious, as Dave Roberts said. He's just really downplaying the how serious it is. So that gives you hope if you're a Dodgers fan. But overall, Kershaw, I think, is going to end up being a big part of this Dodgers team come the second half. And hopefully there's no more injury scares if you are a Dodgers fan. Last but not least, some news that did break actually a few minutes before my show started, so I did end up having to add it last minute, but I'm glad it did happen because it is an interesting trade I want to talk about, and that is Dallas Keuchel. He was end up trading. He did end up getting traded to the Milwaukee Brewers from the Seattle Mariners. Now, I think a lot of people are wondering, Dallas Keuchel still in the league? Yes, Dallas Keuchel is still in the league. I know a lot of people are wondering that, but yeah, obviously a big downhill fall from where he was for a few years ago, winning the Cy Young. Was not great with that White Sox contract and has floated around ever since, making a few starts for the Rangers last year. But yeah, overall, it's a fine, solid depth move for the Brewers. They've needed some veteran pitching with the injuries they've had this year, and I think adding a guy like Keuchel, who just knows how to eat innings, knows how to pitch correct, I think is a good, solid move for this team. Mariners weren't going to use him with all the pitching they had, and I think having an opportunity for Keuchel to end up actually pitching in meaningful games for a good team like the Brewers is fun. And again, I just think Keuchel is a good, solid veteran arm that knows how to pitch well, knows how to eat innings. And with this Brewers team, with the amount of pitching injuries they have had, I think Keuchel is a good addition and will end up being someone that does help this team a lot. So, yeah. So, that is our show for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to not only get notified when I upload, but when all the other great content creators on this channel do. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. This is the end of our segment here, talking about some news around the league. So, yeah. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, and we'll see you at Baseball So That's tomorrow. Thank you guys, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to